All right, both players are ready, so let's go ahead and count them down. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. So we already have both players having to do a little bit of burning early on. Nothing too serious, no real danger. Fireprox taking his time getting Tetris ready. This is going to knock down the first Tetris of the game. Jakub's going to follow suit with a Tetris right after. So a little bit of a slow start here. Both players having to take quite a few burns early on. And Fireprox is in a lot of danger here. And Fireprox able to get some pieces over lip, but is going to have the first top out. So Jakub is good for game 1. Diving into game 2 in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. A little bit of an unfortunate early top out right there in game 1 for Fireprox. But it's a best of 5, so there's still plenty of match left to be played here in our first matchup. And Jakub actually already having to deal with some very, very minor complications. He's going to get an eyepiece to fill in that dependency though, so that is going to help out a lot. And Jakub is now Tetris ready. Wants to cover up the well a little bit. Waiting for all the right pieces, and Jakub now opens up the well again. Just waiting on the long bar, and there it is. Tetris for Jakub. It's going to knock down 2 quick Tetrises, go into the lead, but is also ahead in lines. So Fireprox is going to be able to have the lead in terms of pace and currently in score. Nice last second adjustment over there for Fireprox on the T piece. And maybe not entirely sure. Oh no, that misdrop. Fireprox is going to adjust that L piece, so able to kind of get into a position to resolve this, but the lead could go away as a result, as Jakub is clean. Now, we didn't get to really see much of Jakub on stream with the warm-ups, but there was some rolling action being done, so could see some 29 play be a factor. Of course, we got to get to 29, and right now, both players not with the cleanest of boards. Jakub could get cleaner first, but both players having to dig. Jakub only with a 13,000 point lead. Fireprox gets the L tuck. Just trying to find a way to really bring the stack down. And these S and Zs are not helping. Jakub now Tetris ready. Fireprox almost all the way down at the bottom. Jakub still can't use these long bars for Tetrises. Finally opens up the well and knocks down a Tetris. And Fireprox could be getting set up for a column 2. In my personal opinion, one of the worst Tetris wells to try and go for. Takes a double, and then Fireprox knocks down a Tetris. 201 to now 210. Incredibly close match, but Jakub's going to knock down a Tetris, go up to a 30,000 point lead. Fiprox taking that triple there. So Jakub is going to be able to boost the lead all the way up to 72,000. Is ahead by 2 Tetrises worth in lines. So Fiprox able to cut the lead down by 1. Gonna hopefully try and do it with another. Looking for a piece to tuck underneath. O piece comes. Jakub knocks down another Tetris and Fiprox follows suit. Tetris for Jakub. Fiprox doing a great job here after cleaning up mid-game and could still only be down by 30,000 points in terms of actual pace. But both players now have found a rhythm. Another Tetris for Jakub. Fiprox taking a couple of conservative burns here. Still knocks down a Tetris, down by 46,000. Jakub has to take a triple. And is actually going to be forced to do a little bit of burning. Fiprox just needs a J now after knocking down that Tetris. Not going to hold out and go aggressive. Just going to try and find a conservative way to burn this out. $353 to now 407. There is Tetris for Fiprox. Down by now only 31,000. Love a J piece here. Now it converts the J piece dependency into an L one. Gets the L and the perfect O. Followed up by a great J. Fiprox is Tetris ready. Could only be down by a Tetris if the long bar comes. And Jakub is actually having to do some burning here. So Fiprox could potentially be in a position to take the lead. There's another Tetris for Fiprox, 428 to now 435. We are about to reach the transition. And Jakub could be in danger. 23-piece drought, getting up incredibly high, knocks down a Tetris. And now Fiprox also in a little bit of danger too. Jakub's transition at 467. Fiprox trying to play the cards the right way. And Fiprox transitions at 435. Beautiful burns and a Tetris for Fiprox. Jakub right now fighting for his life. And it's having some great burns, but oh no, not able to get those pieces quiet all the way over to the left. You're really seeing that rolling come into play, but Fiprox is going to take the lead now with that Tetris. 490 to now 480. Still a very close game. And oh no, Jakub with another misdrop. Able to get the eyepiece over, burn a much needed triple. But I'm not sure if anything can get over to that right-hand side. Defies me, but it's not going to be enough. Jakub tops that at 484. Fiprox ties up the set 1-1. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And right now, Fiprox already having to start with some difficulties here. Running into a drought, not necessarily harmful, never really was in a position to get Tetris ready. This is going to allow Jakub to build an early lead here. And emphasis on early, we just started. And oh, that hole is going to prevent Jakub from going for row 1 Tetrises till having to burn it out. With that, we are basically back in a tie position. Separated by half a single currently. Nice adjustment over there from Fiprox. So far, looks like opener-wise, both players are having a pretty good opener here. And oh, 5 and below by 5 procs. What a nice find. And as a result, the board is just going to look pristine. There's going to be a triple, though, from 5 procs. So another Tetris now. 5 procs has definitely been the more conservative player out of the two with the way that some sacking decisions have been made. But also, 5 procs, I believe, has a winning record this season. And definitely has played an important role in some of the Millionaires games. And maybe that was a missed eye spin. Not entirely sure, but... $222 to now $220. Incredibly close game. A Z piece would be nice. Fortunately, no Z piece in sight. Now this is starting to get a little bit more complicated for 5 procs. Gets the eyepiece just the right time. And 5 procs, amazing survival. Yeah, 5 procs currently going into this match with a winning record, has played 3 matches so far, got drafted mid-season. So 5 procs with a record of 2-1. But Jakub, also a phenomenal player for the Stochastic Squad. It's been pretty strong. Came into the playoffs with an even record of 2-2. So definitely looking to try and make that, or rather tie up the record that Jakub has for the playoffs. But right now, Jakub in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. It's not necessarily dangerous, and ooh, amazing aggression right there. Knocks down a Tetris, doesn't take the lead, but trying to make sure they stay competitive here with 5 procs. Five procs now. Tetris ready. Knocks down a Tetris. Jakub, 1 line to burn. And now 1 Mino to fill. And Jakub is now Tetris ready. Going to be trailing by a Tetris. Well, almost 2 Tetrises, depending on if Jakub can score here. And 5 procs is absolutely on fire right now. There it is. Tetris for Jakub. 361 and now 403. 5 procs needs another J or an eyepiece. Either or would work. And neither kind of come in time. But there's an eyepiece. And there's another one to score a Tetris. 430 to now 362. Now 5 procs opting to go a little bit more conservative on a couple of these placements. And understandably so. They're not necessarily the best pieces. Jakub still keeping it close. Only down by 30,000 points. And could be setting up. Yeah, Jakub's going aggressive and setting up for this Tetris. Fortunately, the pieces weren't ideal. So now Jakub is no longer Tetris ready here in the center well. And 10 lines left till transition for both players. And there it is. Tetris for 5 procs. Another Tetris for 5 procs. 1 line to burn. And, ooh. All right, great pieces right there for 5 procs. 5 procs is ready to transition. It's going to do so with a Tetris. 509 transition for 5 procs and 420 transition for Jakub. Another Tetris for 5 procs, and Jakub burns all the way down to the bottom, but is down by 100,000 points. And still kind of not necessarily playing sure. Some of these pieces, long bar dependency in the center. Another Tetris for 5 procs, 561 and now 440. 5 procs set up for another Tetris, knocks it down, but now Jakub is in position to start scoring. So could start fighting back and is going to do so with that Tetris. 467 and now 587. 5 procs goes to level 21. Tetris ready. Jakub in a little bit of trouble. Another Tetris for 5 procs, back up to 145,000 point lead. But a couple of pieces, so 5 procs going to take the smart and conservative burns. Jakub opens up the well. 5 procs in the middle of a drought, though. Needs an L or a J. Eyepiece comes, needs one more eyepiece. And there it is, Tetris for 5 procs. Holding on to this 143,000 point lead. And another Tetris for 5 procs, absolutely on fire right now. Meanwhile, Jakub having trouble really staying in a consistent scoring position. Able to get a triple, very crucial triple right there. Another Tetris for 5 procs. Jakub is still burning, down by 188,000. Tetris for 5 procs goes up to 735. And 5 procs has just been playing an incredibly disciplined post-transition here. He's going to have to take a few burns. And 5 procs having to deal with some issues, but Jakub is also in trouble. Back up top, we've seen that they are currently rolling. And oh no, those placements aren't ideal. Needs a couple of pieces to survive. OP's not going to get all the way over to left. Jakub tops out at 558. And 5 procs with a 779 is going to take game number 3. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. What a solid game from 5 procs that was. Very disciplined 19. And Jakub's first surviving as far as he did. Unfortunately, 5 procs just never slowed down. And at the time of Jakub topping out, 5 procs already had a 220,000 point lead going into level 25. So it was going to require some 29 play in order for Jakub to have overcome that score. That's assuming of a relatively early top out into the last 3 levels from 5 procs. However, those 2 games have already been solidified and stamped in the book of what is this match. So we'll see how much farther we'll go. Oh, nice adjustment there by 5 procs. But based upon the reaction, didn't look like it was completely intentional, but worked out pretty nicely. 5 procs is going to have an early lead, and that's simply because 5 procs has only taken 1 burn so far. But a couple of dependencies is going to force 5 procs to take a couple more burns. While Jakub is having to do some minor down stacking. Finally opens up the well and knocks down a Tetris. Players really comfortable here. This has been a stellar opener from 5 procs. 186,000 at 37 lines. What you're looking for if you're trying to transition with a 600k. And 5 procs passed up on the Tetris for the first time right there. But fortunately, another long bar was to follow. 209 and now 118. There's another Tetris for 5 procs. Really starting off incredibly strong here. And that's due in part to almost having double Jakub's current Tetris rate. Jakub, oh no. A lot of misdrops. Now having to do some digging up high. Good split triple over there from the utilization of that long bar. If there's one thing to be said about Jakub's play tonight, they are amazing at survival. We've seen a lot of these uncomfortable situations in these past 2 games, and Jakub has been able to survive them quite well. We didn't get to see much in the first game due to a relatively early top out by 5 procs. But we'll have to see how this game continues to play out, because this is a massive deficit, down by 160,000 71,000 here, and we're only 73 lines in, at least on Fiprox's side. Another spin, gonna actually pass up yet again on the Tetris, gonna fill in the isolated dependency first, and go for the Tetris last. And Jakub takes the triple and knocks down a Tetris. Gonna barely survive what seemed to be a very deadly misdrop. Beautiful spin tuck set up over there by Jakub. I was hoping that they tried to go for it, and they did, seeing the best possible way to solve that particular situation. And with that, Jakub is clean. Well done. Not quite Tetris ready, though, so not going to get a pat on the back from RNG just quite yet. But it's set up. Waiting on the long bar now. There it is. Tetris for Jakub. 260 or 284, pardon me, to 466. Right now, Fiprox is absolutely on a tear, but this drought may slow things down. This is a scary position to be in if you're Jakub. This is game 4. You need this to go to a decider. Jakub, Tetris ready. Fiprox not quite in a position to score Tetris. Playing incredibly conservative. Couldn't get that O piece all the way over. Ooh, this could get dangerous. The well is open. And the I piece falls. So Fiprox can breathe a little, but another misdrop. And this one, we are only 17 lines away from the transition. So he's going to want to try and get out of this relatively soon. Jakub now decreasing the lead, only down by 110. Really been taking advantage of this moment here. Set up for another Tetris. There's another Tetris for Jakub, down by now 90,000. This is a dirty Tetris set up by Fiprox, but we're getting droughted here. Jakub transitions at 428. And Fiprox, oh no, that hang. That's going to do it. Fiprox is going to top it at 522. So Jakub needs 523. And all the way down at the bottom. This is very doable. Man, what an incredible 18 that was for Fiprox all the way up until the end. 523 is the score that Jakub needs. And starting to get a little bit shaky, but you got to keep in mind Jakub is currently rolling, so things should be fine. More holes are getting generated. Oh no, the dead drop on the long bar. Oh no, another dead drop, and Jakub's gonna top out and fail the chase down. Fiprox is gonna take game number 3. And the Millionaires now lead the match 1-0. Just an unfortunate turn of events. Couple of dead drops in. Now, Millionaires have avoided any potential of a mercy rule. Well, both players are ready. So let's go ahead and count them down to their first match. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Scottobozo already going to push down for 2 points, taking a very, very early lead. And so far, Nevanator finally on the board after that Tetris. Scotto having to take 1 burn line, so is going to take the lead. Nice small adjustment from Nevanator. Not going to be able to use the long bar that was immediately right after for Tetris, but still is going to work out, kind of keep a cohesive stack. And it looks like at this current moment, Scotto is going to have a 1 Tetris lead. is double J dependent though. And now Scotto in a little bit of an uncomfortable position. And I actually believe Scotto is our only Ruby Daz player, well, kind of hybrid player that we have playing in Gauntlet. Majority of our Rubies are in fact rollers or tappers, especially those that are signed up for the playoffs. Here's Tetris for Nevanator. Alright, it knocks down another Tetris. 127 now, 120 or 152. And this gap was able to be closed. That small dig that Scotto had to kind of go into allowed Nevanator to not only catch up but also surpass Scotto's score. So both players pretty solid openers here. 173 to now 156 here, 45 and 47 lines in respectively. And of course, Nevanator was the captain of the Bees last season. And in his new season, became a player along with Alex S, who became a player for Top Down. And Nevanator has had a pretty good season, if I must say so myself. I was definitely looking to keep things rolling into the postseason here. I mean, they're, you know, solid 2-2. And one thing to be kind of a little bit worried about is Nevanator generally makes it to transition around 50% transition rate. But the average losing score without early top outs is 679,000. Generally on the higher end, or rather on the middle end for our Ruby players. And if you take into consideration Scotto in their matches, they actually have an average losing score without early top out at 702. And their average losing score with early top outs included is 649. They have an 88% rate of reaching transition. So Scotto is definitely a incredibly consistent player. And whoa, nice little T-spin over there for Nevanator. In the lead by 37,000. So this isn't going to be an easy battle for Nevanator, and majority of Scotto's matches up against other players have been close. It looks like this game so far hasn't been any exception. 408 for Nevanator, 377 for Scotto. Nevanator up, Tetris ready, up incredibly high. Long bar not showing up. Where's the long bar for Nevanator? Opens up the well, 24 pieces and counting. Nevanator really having to tap fast. Long bar has to come right now, and Nevanator's going to top out. 35-piece drought. Scotto is good for game number 1. Both players are ready, so let's get game number 2 counted down. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Game 1, Nevanator did have a small lead up against Scotto throughout the latter parts, but that one drought just became too much, and with how Nevanator was stacking generally flat, there was no real way to burn out over the first well and then set up for a Hail Mary of a dirty Tetris, and the long bar just didn't fall. Now, Nevanator actually already going to start off the game in a little bit of a tribulation here. Able to start making his way down. Use a piece to open that up. Very nice. Throws that eyepiece all the way over. There it is. Tetris for Nevanator. Still going to actually hold on to a lead here. And knock down another one. Scotto's going to counter. So both players actually not necessarily having a stellar opener. Nevanator is playing at a definitely a solid Tetris rate here. Scotto slightly behind Nevanator. No Tetris for Scotto, 174 to now 168. Scratch that, make that 191. So definitely a solid 40 line opener. Another Tetris for Nevanator. So far, this game's around exactly what we saw last time. This 30,000 point lead for Nevanator. There's Tetris for Nevanator. 305 to now 247. Tetris for Nevanator starting to build up a small lead. Is generating some separation in lines though, so it may not be a true one, but something that is true right now is this drought Scotto is having to endure. It's going to take a conservative triple, knock down a Tetris, and able to burn this out with relative ease. But speaking of droughts, now it's Nevanator's turn. Nevanator is going to be able to survive 399 to now 329. So almost 70,000 points separating the two of them. And Nevanator getting up a little bit high is going to take the triple. Play it a little bit safer here. Waiting on the long bar. This time Nevanator has a beautiful double wide to burn and skim off of if needed. But the long bar does come, so 430, make that 453 to now 376. So we're having a very powerful game over here from Nevanator. Knocks down another Tetris. But Scotto's doing a fantastic job matching Nevanator's current Tetris rate. Quick tap that piece all the way over to the left. All right, Tetris for Scotto. We are nearing the transition. Ooh, nice adjustment for Nevanator. Void taking the double. Knocked down one Tetris, not quite ready for the next, but there it is. 570 for Nevanator here. Scotto is at 455. Nevanator in need of a J and an L. And neither of those pieces fell down, unfortunately. So Nevanator might be doing some burning here into the post-transition. And just like that, Nevanator is actually clean, and it's Scotto that has to do some minor cleanup. Scotto also going to get ready. Both players sitting at 129 lines. Nevanator transitions at 579. Doesn't want to go for the triple. Eyepiece does come. And can't really... Oh, Opens up the well and fills in that hole. Knocks down a Tetris 613 and now 554. There's Tetris for Nevanator. And Nevanator having to endure a couple of tough pieces. Meanwhile, Scotto now in a little bit of a predicament. Beautiful split double that got set up right there. Nevanator not able to really score any more Tetrises. Scotto now down by 128,000. Has managed to clean up. Nevanator knocks down a Tetris. Goes up to 732. And what a way to bounce back after that unfortunate early top out in game one. Speaking of someone who needs to bounce back right now, Scotto down by 151,000. Able to knock down a Tetris. Nevanator knocks down a Tetris as well, and almost immediately Tetris ready. There it is, Tetris for Nevanator. Goes up to 792. Scotto at 643. And back-to-back tucks over there for Nevanator. Increasing the conversion rate over here. Nevanator line spin executed flawlessly. Meanwhile, Scotto with several misdrops over here on the board. Nevanator now starting to get into unreachable territory about some massive 29 play. I don't know how fast Scotto can tap or if they've been working on rolling. But something's got to happen and something's faster. We're going to be looking at a 1-1 situation yet again here in this matchup. Nevanator is actually having to do some burns. So middle of a 28-piece drought. Gets all the right pieces. Going to take the triple. Has a comfortable lead. There's Tetris for Nevanator. 908 to now 696. Scotto now going for center wheel Tetrises here. Really all that can be done. Gonna get out of it. Amazing piece maneuver, but the O piece hangs. Oh, now for an I piece for one last Hail Mary, and is not gonna be in any avail. Scotto tops out at 729. Nevanator is good for game number 2. Earning his first heart of the set. All right, we have it ready from both players. Let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. First Tetris of the game goes to Nevanator. Scotto set up an overhang and the L piece just did not come. Is able to get... Oh, decides not to use that piece to burn out. So there's going to be a little bit of a... couple of burns Scotto's going to have to spend here. Tetris ready. Long bar dependent though. So it's not going to be able to score anything until... long bar dependency, and now this gets dealt with. Scotto now finally Tetris ready. Well is open. There it is. Tetris for Scotto. Had to burn 16 lines to start the game off with. And Nevanator was able to capitalize on the majority of those 16 lines. But now finds himself having to do a minor amount of burning. But gets all the right pieces. Scotto's actually in a tiny bit of danger. Nice quick tap. Goes for the flat S placement. Trying to do the best to survive here. Gets the piece all the way over. And Scotto narrowly surviving. But that... Oh! No, went a little bit too far. Scotto's going to top out at 45k. Nevanator is good for game number 2. All right. Both players are ready. Let's count them down. Game number 4. we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And a lot of nice adjustments being done over here from Nevanator. It's going to put us in a relatively equal position here. Except for Scotto is in the lead by 2 points. Nevanator going to go for the spin and misses the spin. It's going to be a rather costly endeavor. Nevanator now actually set up for a dirty Tetris. Last time set up for something like this didn't go so well in game 1. And he knows it's going to take 3 burn lines, knock down a Tetris. Back into the lead, actually. While Scotto has to deal with this drought. A lot of doubles had to be burned over there for Scotto. But Scotto's going to stay alive. Nevanator is cleaned up and his Tetris ready. It looks like we're going to be running into a back-to-back drought. Second drought, not as big. Tetris 176 to now 179. And so far we do have a 1 Tetris lead for Scotto. We are just a little bit under halfway in. 203 for Nevanator and 226 for Scotto. Nevanator definitely having a little tougher time in this game than we've seen in the past 2 games. There's 254 to now 297. Another Tetris for Nevanator. And he's going to knock down another one into the lead. Scotto nailing that T-piece quick tap to the left, nailing another quick tap. Oh, but not able to get that piece all the way over. Has to take this triple. And this drought was looking a little deadly, but Scotto was able to survive. $379 to now $373. The player's going to knock down a Tetris, so you got a close game here. We're 21 now 425. Scotto's starting to get up a little bit high. Sets up a T-spin, able to knock it down, and gets the long bar for a Tetris. Imagine the kind of lines of garbage that would have sent Nevanator. Probably not as many because it was only a T-spin nothing. Like a T-spin for Flair. But 523 for Scotto. Scotto with 1 Tetris left. Potentially Nevanator with 2. Assuming perfect play and make that 1. So Scotto will have the lead going into transition. There it is, Tetris for both players at the exact same time. 519 transition for Nevanator and 549 transition for Scotto. Scotto knocks down another Tetris. And this is the game to bring us to a decider to prevent a potential mercy rule situation. Scotto's in trouble, knocks down a Tetris, staying alive. Nevanator has got the stack back under control. But now is down by 73,000 points. So has to start scoring because Scotto is no longer in danger. There it is, Tetris for Nevanator. 555 to now 612. Scotto looking for the perfect piece to tuck underneath. Doesn't fall. So now having to do a little bit of burning. Nevanator, Tetris ready. Knocks down a Tetris. Goes up to 582. Scotto back in the clear. Opens up the well. 1 Mino shy being Tetris ready. There it is. Ready for the Tetris, but forced to take a triple. And with that Tetris, Nevanator takes the lead. 637 now 622. Scotto misses the line spin. Knocked us down a Tetris, but now has to deal with the repercussions of missing that spin. Nevanator about to get in a Tetris ready position. Is set up and is now ready to start extending the lead. Scotto almost out of this dig. Very efficient. But now Nevanator running into a drought. Left side's looking dangerous. Able to get a piece all the way over. And oh no! The hang from Nevanator. Nevanator's going to top it at 668. Scotto only needs 2,000 points. And that single's going to do it. We are heading to a decider. All right. Both players are ready. We are heading into our decider. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Going into this match, Nevanator could have been seen as the favorite. Former team captain, so has experience in these high pressure matches. And also with a slightly higher PB than Scotto. Or rather, just higher PB in general. However, Scotto has proven through just sheer perseverance, excellent play, that he can force this match to go to the distance. But it all relies on this. If Scotto wins this, then we won't be seeing a sudden death or we won't be seeing a mercy rule situation. However, if Scotto loses this and Nevanator does come out on top, it all relies on Iankeith and Maddy to decide the entire outcome of the match. Will we be ending the match early if that happens, or will it get extended because of Iankeith's perseverance? Very tricky situation here that is kind of developed for these players. So each of them has pressure. Nevanator wins this, then Myles as a captain doesn't necessarily have to worry about winning that match and losing the match overall. Of course, the Millionaires already won the first matchup against the Stochastic Squad, so only one match stands between them and making it to top 4, which will guarantee them at least 2 more team matches throughout for the rest of the season. Players are start to wrap up their openers, and we have a pretty strong opener for both players. Nevanator, of course, having a little bit of a stronger opener here. In fact, is going to clock in at 43 lines at 214,000. Scotto might clock in at around 190,000. Well, now 192,000. So one Tetris separating them. Incredibly close here in the opener. Nevanator with the innate advantage. There's another Tetris for Scotto. The Nevanator's starting to counter each in Tetris. As long as Scotto can keep the Tetris rates up, we'll be able to keep up with Nevanator's score. Not allow Nevanator to really build a lead like what we've seen in these past few games. Simul Tetris right there, 285 to now 244. Beautiful overhang using the eyepiece right there. Nevanator now running into a drought. Only a small one, only 17 pieces, so nothing deadly. Lead's gonna still stay around the 39,000 range. 333 for Nevanator, 294 for Scotto. Scotto is starting to take a few more burns here and there. Gonna go for this Tetris, doesn't quite get it, so now forced to burn this out. Here's Tetris for Nevanator. Knock another one down. 402 to now 322. .428 to now 348. Nevanator holding on to around a 60,000 point lead here. So nothing to sneeze at for sure. Scotto is fighting and fighting hard. And Nevanator, tricky position here. Knocks down a Tetris, 503 to now 399. And Nevanator, potential 600k transition inbound. And what a time to get one right before, or right in the decider. It's weird. There it is, Tetris for Nevanator. Can try and go for the spin here. Set up for a Tetris. Waiting on the long bar. Those O pieces are not it. So Nevanator going to transition at 599, but droughted into transition. But Scotto is in danger. How can Scotto survive this? Gonna have to work on some way to tap out. And oh my gosh, Scotto's gonna stay alive. But the down stack is massive. First things first, Scotto needs to get that T-piece over. Well done. Look at these burns, taking these skims one by one. Needs an L or a J. That I-piece is going to work. Able to throw these pieces over to left, helping out a lot. Scotto is going to stay alive. Absolutely insane. But what's more insane is that Scotto is now down by 147,000 points. This is the decider. There are no more chances. But Nevanator is not necessarily in the best of positions. Nevanator is going to burn down a triple, so Scotto has opportunity. Can try and close the gap by as many Tetrises as possible right now. Nevanator doesn't look like he's going to be out of this anytime soon. But Scotto with a couple of hangs, not ideal. Nice burns over here for Scotto, waiting for the ideal pieces to go for as flawless as a burnout as possible. Goes for a little bit of a spin there, but Nevanator's just got cleaned up. 736 to now 582. Nevanator now in a position to start increasing the lead. There's a Tetris for Nevanator. Scotto now Finally, Tetris ready. Knocks down a Tetris back to the right well, but now down by 176,000. This is a decider. There are no more chances. Tetris over there for Nevanator, but also there was a Tetris for Scotto. 827 now 648. Another Tetris for Nevanator. $890 to $710. Another Tetris for Nevanator. Starting to reach in the really difficult spot over here for Scotto. $956 now for Nevanator. Scotto has to hope something goes terribly wrong for Nevanator and has to play perfect. There's the Tetris for Scotto, but another Tetris for Nevanator, and that might have been the dagger. Another Tetris for Scotto. Nevanator. Right, there it is. There's the max. And Scotto now having to do some burns here on 27. Scotto going aggressive. Whoa. Holding out for the long bar. Long bar is not coming. Scotto is going to top out at 848. Nevanator clutches out the decider. 1.14. Going to try and set up for another one. No, just going to get as many extra points as possible. 1.15. Nevanator clutches out the decider. Millionaires take this match. Or not the match overall, but Millionaires go up 2-0. Stochastic Squad now faces a mercy rule situation. We have a ready from both players. Here we go. Let's count down match number 3 and probably one of the most pivotal matches that will be played tonight. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Now, I've already talked about it a little bit in our previous match between Nevanator and Scotto, but Iankeith has to win this match in order for the Stochastic Squad to have hopes alive. Iankeith can win this, then it will all be down on the captain to force a sudden death, which last match, Supamines did force a sudden death situation, and right now is not playing. Was really key, able to beat Supamines just barely. So Myles is going to have to close things out if Iankeith is able to beat Maddy. However, Maddy has probably had one of the best turnarounds from the previous season to this season, only losing one match throughout the regular season. And right now is going to be playing in her first playoff game today. And it appears that Maddy is also rolling too. So in addition to already being an incredibly fast tapper, now with the extra mobility of rolling, we could see some interesting stuff. So this is going to be quite the battle for Iankeith. But also Iankeith was key in beating Vince in our last matchup between the Stochastic Squad and the Millionaires. So we'll have to see what happens. It's funny because if Maddy does become a Ruby, then the Millionaires and the Wavy ones are going to have almost the exact same amount of rubies, or 4 rubies apiece. $178 to now $156. And oh no, that's going to be an early top out for Ian. Just a couple of hangs on top of each other, and that's going to do it. All right, both players are ready. Let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Maddy now 2 games away from guaranteeing a match win from the Millionaires. And, oh, Maddy deciding not going for the tuck there. It's going to cause Maddy to fall behind early on. And Maddy actually having to take a lot of burns here to open up with. And oh, another misdrop for Maddy. Rolling right now, really playing to her advantage, helping her survive this. But iankeith on a tear. Almost up to a 100,000 point lead this early in the game. Never mind, is at a 100,000 point lead. And oh no, a couple of misdrops from Maddy. And Maddy returns the gift right back to Ian. We are now tied 1-1. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Much better opener over here for Maddy. And to think that this all spiraled for Maddy deciding not to go for that tuck with the J piece. Never really had a chance to kind of recover. And gonna create a long bar dependency and gonna go for the Tetris first. Filling the long bar dependency later. But right now we are having a tie game. And oh, beautiful bits over there from Ian. He's going to take the first burn out of the 2 though. Going to follow it up with another triple. Some tough pieces right there. So Maddy is going to have the lead here for our first 20 lines. But regardless, our openers so far have been pretty solid. Very nice and clean. You don't see really too many dependencies being set up, or rather dependencies that are incredibly deadly. But we do have now our first major dig situation over here from Ian. Great placements on those tees. Ian's Tetris ready. Maddy now also having to do some digging. And Ian's just not getting good pieces here. Both players not in a position to score, but they both open up the well relatively around the same time. Tetris for Ian, and Maddy having to do some more burning. Opens up the well just as soon as the long bar arrives, so both players going to be able to knock down a Tetris after having to deal with a couple of hardships. There's Tetris for Ian, 178 to now 195. And Ian knocks down a Tetris there. Takes the lead, but has to fix up the stack. Or could try and go for a center well, and looks like that's what we're going to get. Center well is being set up and is being maintained. Eyepiece comes a tad bit too late, but there's another one. Tetris for Ian. 230 now 268. Maddy with another with the lead. 38,000 points in Maddy's favor. But Ian once again back in another comfortable position, so could prevent Maddy from increasing the lead from 38,000. And as long as continue to play like this, he'll put himself in a position to take advantage whenever Maddy does end up in a dig. Or even just a drought. Iankeith now, Tetris ready. It's the Tetris for Ian. And he's still putting the pressure on. Maddy starting to get up a little bit high. Does have rolling, and oh, narrowly going to survive, but now has to do some massive down stacking. And oh, the double flip. Maddy's going to top out at 432. Iankeith knocks down the Tetris and takes game number 3. And it's just Ritz crackers, but both players are ready, so let's go and count them down. Game number 4. Iankeith right now 1 game away from giving Stochastic Squad one more chance here in this match. So Maddy now has to win this match in order to bring us to a decider. And oh, misspin from Ian and a 20+ piece drought to boot. This is starting to get complicated really quickly. But Ian's found a way to navigate through this. But Maddy now having to deal with a drought. So both players getting hit with a 20-piece drought early on and a dirty Tetris for Ian. You haven't seen a transition so far in this match. But if there was any game to do it, now's the time. Maddy has been put in a situation similar to this back in the last season, where Maddy was able to win a sudden death game up against TT Playa, if I'm not mistaken. And a perfect clear over there from Iankeith. But Maddy was able to win a game up against TT Playa to allow the Millionaires to advance past the Sparks Aminos. Another Tetris for Maddy. 183 to now 164. Really close game here. Maddy's still holding on to this 1 Tetris lead, and oh, really complicated pieces for Iankeith. Able to knock down a double, but all these holes scattered all over the place. $233 for Maddy. Up a little high. Knocks down a Tetris and follows it up with another one. Now is starting to build up a lead here up against Ian. Ian just really been struggling with a lot of these pieces, and RNG is apparently a snake because it just dealt Ian 3 S's in a row, and there really wasn't a good place for them. But Ian's going to be able to convert a dirty Tetris over and then burn a double to go right back to the right well. But now Maddy's the one that's in trouble. And oh, Maddy didn't roll that piece all the way over. It's an eye piece. Oh, it dead drops and Maddy's gonna top out. 332 top out for Maddy. Iankeith needs 333. But hold on, things aren't necessarily free. This could easily get complicated. But Iankeith taking all the smart burns. But running into quite a hefty drought here. 44,000 point chase down. Iankeith's gonna go for the triple, not setting up. And just like that, Iankeith should be able to accomplish this chase down. A little bit of a scary situation there. But after quite the turbulent match, Iankeith has successfully given the Stochastic Squad one last chance here. It's gonna all fall on the captains. Maddy takes her second loss of the season as Iankeith now makes the match score 2-1. Unfortunately, Supamines did not show up to play in this match, and due to the rules of Gauntlet for you being late to a match, this match is forfeited, and so Myles takes match number 4, and the Millionaires take the series 3-1, eliminating the Stochastic Squad from the playoffs. Goes into the lead. Supamines is now in trouble. This could be huge. Supamines has to downstack. Can he do it? Can he do it? He's running out of room. He's not getting the pieces he wants, but he's managing to find lines. What a miracle this is for Supamines right now. Able to find lines here, left and right. Able to bring the stack down. Supamines just burned.